Hey everyone, it's Jane Powers. It's finally time to launch my podcast. Now, this is a really emotional moment for me. It's been a really tough couple of years, and I've been talking about my podcast for a while, and I'm ready to shine again. Now, I know a lot of you guys know me as a really positive and bubbly person, which I am, but a lot of us strong people were really having a hard time with our mental health. And I know that this podcast is going to be a lot of vulnerability, a lot of realness, and just peeling back a lot of layers. And I'm super excited to create a platform where not only I can share my thoughts and my feelings and my life experiences, but also have guests that come and share their story. And this is why we have an empty chair for our lovely guests, which I'm super excited about. Now, I'm sure a lot of you all have had a lot of plans, a lot of projects, a lot of deadlines, a lot of timelines. And again, with the last couple of years, I'm sure some of these dreams and visions and goals have been pushed back on the burner. And it can get really discouraging. And I know for me, this time has been really impactful. It's been really humbling, and it's forced me to get deeper with my purpose, my existence. And, you know, I didn't realize how much anxiety, how much fear was taking over my life. And I'm just really proud of myself to be here in this moment. And I just want to take a moment to celebrate you as well, that you're here, and no matter where you are, you matter. Like, your life matters, your goals matter, your vision, your dreams, it matters. And so I wanted this first episode to be just very transparent, very vulnerable, and I want to invite you all to just be here, be present, and to acknowledge how far you've come. I mean, sure, none of us are probably where we wanted to be, but to acknowledge that we've come far. And I wanted to just share a little insight about me and my journey. And again, what propelled me to start this podcast finally. I was so passionate in this, and I'm ready. I'm ready to share my story. I'm ready to share stories of influential people that have intimately impacted my life. And I know it's going to empower you. I know it's going to encourage you. And most importantly, I want you to feel like you belong. I want to create a really raw spiritual community where you are heard, things that we share on this podcast. I want you to be able to relate to it. And if there's any topics or things that have really triggered you, or things that you're dealing with, or things that you want to talk about, please send me a message, and I want to talk about those things. Any way that I can use this podcast, this platform, to not only change the lives that are in this chair, but even with my viewers and even on my listeners, I want to be able to make sure you take away something powerful, and that you leave just a little more hopeful, a little more brighter, a little more uplifted. That is my main goal of this podcast. I want to be able to inspire you all to live a healthier, happier, more beautiful life, to be able to create the life that you love. You know, we only have one life, one shot, and we got to make it count. And I've learned, as a really strong, stubborn individual, I don't like to ask for help. And I know that sometimes I'm in my darkest moments and I just put a smile on and I act like I'm fine. But I know you guys can relate in that aspect, is how often do we just keep smiling? How often do we just keep on keeping on? But we're just drowning in our sadness. We're drowning in our anxiety. We're drowning in our fear. But I want to say, no matter where you're at, you're good, you're loved, and it's going to be okay. So I want to share just a little backstory of me, my childhood, and up till now. It's kind of cool. A lot of people don't know that I was a competitive golfer for most of my life, and I feel really honored and blessed that I had parents who worked really hard to provide. I'm one of four, and they put us all in sports, and golf really taught me about discipline, determination, independence, and focus. Now, I know golf isn't a team sport, but it really taught me about just having accountability and owning your actions, just having ownership. And so golf was incredible. And I remember as a kid, I moved around a lot. I lived in 8 states, including Las Vegas currently. And when you move around a lot, for those that have moved around a lot, it really teaches you how to adapt to change and how to be a chameleon, and you learn to make new friends really easily. A lot of people say I can talk to anyone, make a stranger feel like a friend, feel like family. And I just realized that all these experiences made me who I am today. And even with my career path, I know that usually when we think about adulting, you have a linear path, you have a career in mind, and it's just ABC 1, 2, 3. And one day you just wake up knowing what you do. But for me, I've had countless jobs, worked in every industry you could imagine. And I always felt like there was more. I felt like I was meant for more. And I never got comfortable. I never just stayed at a job just because everybody else was staying at the job. But now looking back, I believe every experience, every person you've met, every job you've had, every environment you've experienced, it's all for a bigger purpose. And, you know, I'm an extreme extrovert. I love to talk, but lately I'm so intrigued by learning about others and hearing perspectives that might be different from mine and maybe even challenging my own. And I've had a lot of wise people in my life these days just share so much insight about life, and it's just incredible. And so when I moved to Vegas 2 years ago, just a month before the pandemic, I said, I'm going to move here to change my life. I'm going to leave my friends and family to find myself. And so, you know, sometimes we forget like our journey. We forget what we've gone through, what we've overcome, what we've sacrificed, right, for the better life. And I've realized I took a giant leap of faith, and I'm so thankful for my faith in God that I was able to move here and didn't have any connections, didn't have any friends or family out here to help me, but I knew that I could do it. I knew that I could handle it. And so 2 years ago when I moved here, I thought, I'm going to make an impact. I know I'm going to be different. I know that I might be an outsider. I know that I might not fit into the scene, but I knew that I was supposed to be in Vegas, at least for now, to just be a breath of fresh air and to challenge people, to challenge themselves, to step outside of their comfort zone and to leave everything they know. Because sometimes we catch ourselves living in the past. We catch ourselves living in our comfort zone because we are afraid of what could be. And so I'm far from perfect. And again, I know a lot of people see me, again, always so put together, jolly and polished, but deep down inside, I am a very sensitive person. But I want this moment to just be a moment of enlightenment that even the strong, we can be vulnerable. Even the strong, we need a hug. Even the strong, we need to be reminded of how amazing we are and how amazing life is. And even when times are tough, to be reminded that we're going to be okay. And so I try to be very outspoken when I'm meeting people. I try to always be a light wherever I go. And I always try to be full of words of affirmation. And I try to treat people the way I want to be treated because I know what it's like to feel alone. I know what it's like to feel afraid. I know what it's like to live in anxiety and depression. And I know what it's like to just feel unseen. And so with that realness and with those experiences, I'm highly intuitive with people walking in the dark. I'm highly intuitive with people who are in a funk, because I myself have been fighting through anxiety. I myself have been fighting through dark moments, and I myself have ups and downs, maybe most days are good, but the days that suck, they're really hard. And I just wanted someone to tell me that I was going to be okay. That's all I wanted. And so I really feel like this podcast, not only am I giving to my community, giving back to the viewers and listeners, giving back to the guests that will be on my podcast, but more importantly, when I give, I get that love back. When I give that comfort and reassurance, I really get that back. And I know that this is going to be such a rewarding moment, a rewarding experience. And sometimes you have to be the change you want to see in the world. Sometimes the greatest changes happen within. So again, like, this moment is super special. And for everyone watching, just thank you so much. Everyone listening, thank you so much. And I'm sure for those that have known me or have met me in the last 2 years in Vegas, it has not been easy. But thank you for your support. And all my friends on the West Coast and on the East Coast, thank you so much for all your support. And back to my childhood, when I mentioned that I moved around a lot. I was born in California, spent a lot of time in Seattle, Washington, went to college in Oregon, spent some time in Colorado, and then through work ended up in Maryland, DC, Virginia, took some traveling trips to New York. I've learned so much from just traveling from the West Coast to the East Coast. I've learned to keep a free spirit, to keep an open mindset, but also to have crazy work ethic and to be determined and get after what you want and to stand up for yourself. Especially as a woman in Vegas, it's really important to stand your ground and speak your mind, of course, with respect and love and wisdom. And just even in my career path, I've worked in sales. I've worked as a professional makeup artist. I've worked in real estate, hospitality, restaurant business, medical cannabis, events, you name it. And it's taught me at the end of the day, it's all about connection. It's all about using our tools, using our passions to connect with souls and minds. I think that we often forget the purpose or the meaning of finding your dream life. To find that life that you love is, how rad would it be to get paid to do what you love, to do what you want to do, and impact the world in a great way. That is gold right there. So again, just whenever I think about all the moving that I did as a kid, all the jobs that I've had, the stressful competitive environments I had playing golf, everything led me to this moment right here. Everything led me into the resilient, confident, fierce, yet vulnerable, emotional, sensitive woman that I am today. But I also believe that all the layers that I had to fight through, all the layers I also had to peel off, it taught me that it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to accept that there are moments you don't know who you are. Maybe there's moments you don't know where you are and what you're doing. It took me, almost 33 years to realize that truth. And again, I really want to thank these special people in my life that had the real talks, that were just very straight up, teaching me that, life is not always about sugarcoating things and beating around the bush, being passive aggressive. Like, that is not the way to freedom. That is not the way to peace. That is not the way to mental health. And that sometimes we have to be blunt. Sometimes we have to be straightforward. Even if we think we might hurt ourselves and we might hurt the people around us, that love is discipline, and sometimes love is being direct, even if it hurts a little bit, And I know that my time in Vegas so far has been such an experience. The people I've met, whether it's in the nightclubs, whether it's at the mall, whether it's at the gym, whether it's at the grocery store, I've met so many incredible people. And again, I want this podcast to be for everybody that wants to be better, to do better, to make some positive spiritual shifts in their life, to create the life that they want, because I know I do. But at the same time, recognizing where we're not where we need to be, but also celebrating how far we've come. I know that oftentimes we beat ourselves up for not being good enough, but I just want to encourage you all, like, you are enough and you deserve to be happy. You deserve to have peace. You deserve to have that life that you love. And again, life is so short. And this is the first podcast that I'm recording right now, but just the excitement I have, I can't wait. And I think that's why I'm just having an emotional moment right now. And I'm having a breakthrough moment is I'm worthy to be on this podcast. I'm worthy to have people on my podcast because I know that I matter just as much as you matter, and just as much as every guest that is on this platform, they matter. And I'm just so excited that I'm able to finally have the courage to be here right now and to do this. Now, most importantly, I really want to highlight spiritual transformation on this podcast. I really want to highlight what type of inner changes need to happen for us to be the better version of ourselves. And I know for me, I really was struggling these last 2 years with just figuring out who I am. And I think for all of us, when we're going through unexpected life changes, it throws everything off. And sometimes we forget to get back to the basics, to get back to the things that brought me joy. And again, I've had so many great friends and people reminding me, Jane, like, what makes you happy? And I mean, I hate to say this, but I feel like for so many years, especially the last 2 years, I didn't realize I was in survival mode. And it's taking this very moment to realize, like, it's time to wake up, Jane. It's time to go after your dreams again. It's time to remember the visions and the dreams you had for your life. And I know that ever since I was a kid, especially being a middle child and the black sheep in my family, I knew that at a very young age, like, I was meant to entertain people. I was meant to educate people. I was meant to bring community and be the hype person and be your biggest cheerleader. And I just forgot what made me happy. I forgot what brought me the greatest joy. And I know I'm not alone in this. I know that so many people listening and watching, I know I'm not alone in that, right? I can just sense it. And on top of all the things that have happened, I'm highly intuitive. You know, I consider myself an empath. So for those that are highly intuitive and an empath, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I share this. But even if I'm good and I'm in a good place, I can really feel the pain around me. I can feel pain in this world. Again, I could have a great day and go to work. I could have a great day, go to the grocery store. I could have a great day, go to the gym. And even if there's one person, one spirit in that room that's sad or depressed, I can feel it. I can literally feel their pain, their sadness, their anxiety, their depression. And so when you are intuitive, when you are empathic, it's not easy to keep your peace, to protect your peace sometimes, because you're just taking in all these things from the world, all these things from your environment. And so it's been quite an emotional season for me, to say the least. It's been quite emotional because sometimes my sadness isn't necessarily my sadness, but I can just feel this heavy weight in the world. And so I've learned, for those that are empathic and highly intuitive like myself, to use that power, to use that ability for good. And so bringing it back to this podcast, bringing it back to this very moment, I'm choosing to use my intuition for good. I'm choosing to use my ability to feel other people's emotion for good. And I have a countless list of people that I already want to bring on. And again, for those listening and watching, you're most likely on my list. And if you're not, make sure you send me a message, shoot me a text, or send me a message, and we'll get you on here. But this moment, this podcast, like I said, it's not just about me. It's about showcasing and sharing stories, but just I'm so excited. And again, so many people touch my life, and I want to show them that they matter and that they have made an impact. And I think this moment, just like I took a moment for myself to share with you all, I want to be able to give you the platform, and I want to give you the space to let go, to unleash any anxiety and fear you may have. And I want this moment to also be a moment of just healing, transformation, and unexpected tears, unexpected laughter, unexpected joy. I want people to feel like they're releasing the weight, and I want this to be an intimate, safe place. And by no means is this podcast just always going to be about sad, emotional, triggering topics. I mean, I obviously want it to also be fun and entertaining. But again, I want to start this podcast on the right foot. And I have to lead by example by being real, being honest, being vulnerable. And I think that is what's going to set the tone for this podcast. So again, I'm super excited for the guests that will be on the podcast. I'm super excited for everybody listening and watching. I can feel the love already. I can feel the support already. So please, any topics you want to talk about or any questions you might have about me or any of the guests, please don't be shy. Voice your opinions. And I want this to be a life-giving podcast. So thank you for listening. Thank you for choosing to share this moment with me. Thank you for your time. And, you know, there's plenty of distractions in the world right now. There's plenty of negative things that we have to see and listen to. So why not take time to breathe life into people? Why not take time to uplift one another? And I know me, myself, coming from a season of just anxiety and depression and feeling so discouraged, I know that, man, like it makes all the difference when someone just reminds me, like, Jane, you're going to be okay today. Jane, it's okay to not be okay. Or Jane, it's okay to feel lost. It's okay to not know what's next. And questioning life, questioning yourself. I think it's important. So again, like, this is just the beginning, and I know that this podcast is going to change so many lives in this world. And more importantly, like, our lives matter. There's a reason we're here. There's a reason we've overcome so much. And I believe that we all have a light from within, and that we need to choose to live in the light, and that we need to choose to be the light of the world. And recently I've learned sometimes when you are searching for the light in a dark season, that maybe you're the light. Maybe the light is within you. And sometimes there's seasons, places, and moments, and even jobs where you are the light. So again, I just want to show my gratitude for all of you. And let's crush this life. Let's build those businesses. Let's start networking, and let's not live in fear. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to my first episode on Divinely Disruptive. And until next time, keep shining and protect your peace.